Hey there, I'm Kat, and this is Brews and Reviews. It's day one of the Spoonies Readathon, a readathon that I'm co-hosting with the lovely Emily from Nobel Novels. And I've decided to do a vlog for this because I feel like I'm going to have loads of thoughts about the books that I'm reading. All the books I'm going to be reading throughout this readathon are to do with people with disabilities and disabled authors, basically a celebration of disability. And if you want to know anything else about the readathon, go check out the announcement video in the description below. It's running throughout the entirety of May, so there's plenty of time to join us. And literally all you have to do, if you don't want to do any of the prompts, is to read a book with disability involved in it in some way. But you know, we hope you'll join us, and if you're here, then you're here to listen to me talk about some books. So let's talk about the first book that I'm going to pick up for the readathon. I'm probably going to weave in and out of many different books depending on what I'm feeling at this time. I'm going to end up reading 6 books at once, and it's my own fault and we're not going to feel bad about it. It's just what's going to happen. So the first book I'm going to start, because I'm doing this as a buddy read with Emily from Nobel Novels, is Son of Neptune by Rick Riordan. This is the second book in the Heroes of Olympus series. It's a Percy Jackson book. I'm excited to reread this one and see how I found it. I didn't love the first book in the Heroes of Olympus as much as I did the first time round, but I think that's just because I knew what was going to happen. And I don't really like Jason as a character, but Percy's back in this one, so I'm going to enjoy it more. So the plan is to read about 80 pages of this tonight, and then I'm going to watch the Bad Batch finale because that's on tonight, which is exciting and terrifying at the same time. Hope I don't cry. Probably will though, because it's the end and I'm terrified for the Bad Batch. Anyway, other than that, the books that I have ongoing from last month that I haven't managed to finish yet that do also feature disabled characters are Tower of Dawn and Empire of Storms. I'm doing a tandem read of that, and that's fun. Obviously, I'm not counting these as great examples of disabled characters, but they do have characters with disabilities in them. So those are ongoing, and I'll pick them up when I get to them. And other than that, I'm not sure what I'll pick up, but we'll find out as we vlog. Morning everyone, I'm doing my makeup, so I thought I would sort of vlog because I haven't checked in for a little while. And that's mostly because I didn't do any reading last night. I did some reading on the first day of the readathon, where I read 113 pages of Son of Neptune, and read a little bit of the 2 Sarah J. Maas books that I'm doing, just because both of those are buddy reads, so I kind of have the pressure to push me on with those. Yesterday I read absolutely nothing of Son of Neptune or Empire of Storms. I just read 3 chapters of Tower of Dawn. I have no energy at all. Absolutely no energy. It's all gone, and I'm not sure quite why. It just I don't know. My spoons are all gone. But I also feel like that's really funny, because if that was ever to happen during a readathon that I was vlogging, how funny that happened during the Spoonies Readathon, where we want to discuss things like our spoons running out and that sort of thing, and self-care and all that. So I've just been taking it easy, and I want to try and read some more stuff today. I also have to do a lot of cleaning tonight because I've got some people coming over tomorrow, because I'm having a Star Wars marathon because it's Star Wars Day, which is great and fun. It just takes a lot of energy, so hopefully I can listen to some of my audiobooks while I'm doing that and actually get on this readathon. It's so annoying to me, but I'm so excited to read the books that I've got for this readathon. It takes a lot of energy to start a new book, and I don't know why, but sometimes I just really put it off because I know that maybe it's that it takes more brain power or something, but I don't know, it's easier to reread things than it is to start new things. Even if I'm really excited about that new thing, I'm I don't want my energy levels to affect how I feel about what I'm reading, because you know when you just feel a bit crap and then you end up reading something, you're well, that didn't hit how I thought it was gonna hit. But if you'd read it when you were pumped up and really healthy and all that sort of thing, you think, oh, maybe I would have given that a 5-star, and then you think, did my mood affect how I rated that because I was feeling down when I was reading it? And they're I don't want that to happen to a lot of the books that I've got on my TBR, so I'm thinking it's safer that I stick to the rereads for this moment, and then hopefully, because it's a long weekend, it's a bank holiday weekend in the UK, so hopefully I will be able to recharge a little bit and get some spoons back, because I really need them. Also, I will clean up my face. I'm really bad at putting mascara on, and apparently I'm way worse at it when I'm talking to people, so this was the appropriate time to do this, but oh well, we move. I just haven't vlogged anything at all because I really wasn't doing any reading. I don't know what is going on at the moment, but I'm just really struggling. But yesterday I had a good reading day, so I'm here to talk about what I've been reading. I decided to pick up A Kind of Spark and read the whole thing in one sitting, so I think that was really interesting. So A Kind of Spark by Elle McNichol is an Own Voices autistic story, and it's about a girl who kind of gets bullied a lot at school. Anyway, they start learning about witches and witch trials, and she starts identifying with them and tries to convince the town to set up a memorial to the women who were burned for being witches, or essentially just different. Do you know what? I really liked it, but I do have to say it was a really difficult story to have read. And I can't personally say that I really associated with it. I found myself drawn to Keedy, who is the older sister in this story, who also is autistic. And I really could relate to her more, but still not really. And I think that this is because I'm a late diagnosed autistic. So I never really had this experience in school of people bullying because she's autistic, and a lot of the autistic traits that the main character has I don't really have. But I think it's so different coming at it from an adult perspective of somebody who is more willing to I gave up on masking. Fuck masking. I really can't be bothered to mask for people, and a lot of this story is oh, try and mask, or people who are mad that she doesn't mask, or they're just mad at her for no reason. And I know that it's the experience of so many autistic people. I haven't had that experience as much. I've had certain experiences that are definitely people deciding they don't like me because I'm autistic, and because of how I act because I am autistic, and the way that my brain works and stuff like that. But it just seemed like everybody in this bloody town is just evil, and I thought it was a little bit excessive, but I don't know, because personally I didn't share that experience of being diagnosed autistic at that age. So I didn't have the same experience. So maybe this is what this is like, and I am just really, really privileged to have had people around me who were supportive of me just being quirky, because that's all we just thought I was just a bit weird. Which is true, I am a bit weird, but I don't know. It's a really interesting one. I found it a really difficult read, because it's think of all of the worst things that could happen, or think of all of the worst people that you could be around, and they were all around her. So I don't know, it was a really hard one to read, but I found it a really interesting one, and I liked it overall. I think I'm more interested in reading the prequel, which I think is Keedy, about the sister, but I don't know when that's set. So if she's older, I think I'll probably appreciate it more. I'm unsure. I liked it, I just didn't associate it with it in the same way that I thought I was going to. So I think it was an interesting one to have read, and I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. In a wild turn of reading, I've also finished Son of Neptune by Rick Riordan. This one is the second book in the Heroes of Olympus series, and I was buddy reading this with Emily from Novel Novels. I loved this book much more than the first book in this series. I flew through it when I just sat down to read it. I was like, oh, I'll just keep reading, and then poof, it ended. And I was like, oh, oopsie daisies, I have reached the end. I find all 3 of the main heroes in this book much more compelling than all 3 of the heroes in the previous book, and I like the stories about Rome and all of the different things that are happening here. I just found it more interesting generally, so I'm really, really excited to get to the next 3 books in the series, because I remember them being amazing. I'm excited for it. But yeah, another book done, and this one was quite a chunk. It's 500, that's how much I read today. 521 pages, so I feel pretty good about that's finished. That was a large one, because A Kind of Spark was only under 200 pages, so it wasn't that long. I also picked up my Kindle and started reading Mooncakes, because I was multitasking, and I thought, oh, it'd be cute to read Mooncakes while I'm just doing other things. And I read about 100 pages of that last night, so I've got about 150 left. So I think that's pretty good going. I feel like I'm on a bit of a roll, so I'm just gonna keep going, hopefully. let's just hope that I can actually manage to keep up with the vlogging and keep up with the reading. I have also been reading Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn as part of the tandem buddy read I'm doing with some of my friends that I'm forcing to read the Throne of Glass series. I say forcing, but as soon as they got to Aerofire, they were all aboard the train. So that's been fun, but it does take up a lot of time because you're constantly switching back and forth between these different chapters. So that's other reading that I've been doing. Apart from that, not much else. Oh, and I just realised, so on the 4th of May, I also had a Star Wars marathon day, because it's Star Wars Day, may the 4th be with you, and I watched A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and Phantom Menace, and then it got too late, because
we were supposed to start it on time and we should have been able to watch all 6, but the Tales of the Empire series dropped that day and we decided to watch that first, and then it got so late that we would only have been able to watch one more film, and we were like, we can't just leave it with one film unwatched, so we just decided we would watch 4 of them and then we'll leave it there. So that was my Star Wars experience. Did you guys do anything for Star Wars Day? I'm curious. This is my first actual Star Wars Day that I've celebrated, so it was fun. It did also mean that I had to do a lot of house cleaning so people could come around to my house so we could watch this, and like it's definitely made me have a flare up of just this fatigue that I get a lot and general pain. So I've been struggling for like yesterday and today, and I just don't want to move at all. But like I think I might force myself to go on a walk today because it's really nice and sunny outside, and it was yesterday, and I feel just shit that I can't go outside because I want to go for a walk, but then I'm also like, what if I make it halfway and then I can't I can't get back because it hurts too much. Which is a little bit pathetic considering I'm only going on half an hour walks at the moment. So, you know what though, that's life at the moment. So, if I can't talk about it during the Spoonies Readathon, when can I talk about it? We move, or, we don't, because we sit, because it hurts too much to move. But it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. No. So it is Saturday the 11th, and I've just not vlogged at all, which is really rubbish, and I feel like there's like a multitude of reasons for why I haven't vlogged, and one of them has been that like my fatigue has been just so bad. Also, I'm standing in the window at the moment because it's natural light and I can't see a thing, so if I look a mess right now, that's just what I look like, okay? It's just what I look like. It's so hot right now, it's like 25 degrees in the UK and there's just no airflow inside my house, so I just feel like I'm just slowly melting, and that's also super. But yeah, generally my fatigue has been so bad. I've just been falling asleep straight after work and then sleeping for like an hour and a half and then not sleeping through the night. Let's talk about what I've been reading. So when I have been able to sort of unhook my brain, I did manage to finish, I think, 4 books since the last time I spoke to you guys. If I've talked about Son of Neptune, then editing me is just going to cut out a section. So if there's only 3, then there's only 3. Oopsie. I finished Mooncakes by Suzanne Walker. This was a graphic novel about a hard of hearing witch who lived with her grandmas. And one day there's something happening in the forest and she bumps into this werewolf who happens to be her childhood friend / crush. And it's very, very cute, and there's a lot about like self-acceptance and stuff like that in there. I really liked how Nova, the main character who is deaf, I really liked how that was handled, because it wasn't like a big deal that she was deaf, but it also definitely affected her life, and you could sort of see how she had like made adaptations based on her disability, and I really liked that. And it was just very cute, so if you're after a really cute graphic novel, I'd go for that one. I give it 4 out of 5 stars. Then next up, I finished the tandem read of Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn by Sarah J Maas. Really enjoyed them. It was weird reading them in the tandem read. I don't think I'd do that again. It was a lot of effort, and I almost feel like reading Tower of Dawn after Empire of Storms is kind of like a balm. I saw someone on TikTok refer to it as like Empire of Storms is like the crazy night out, and then Tower of Dawn is the kebab that you have after the night out. And I was like, I don't know why, but that works as a phrase to use for these books. So yeah, I think I would prefer to read it like that next time, but I enjoyed them. My friends were like, about some of the reveals. It was very fun to watch them experience that. And then yeah, okay, so I've slightly moved. One, because I was actually melting in the sun. I don't know if you can see, it just got really, really hot right then. So hot, but also my neighbor was standing outside my window and it was really awkward that I was just looking out the window. Awkward. Anyway. I've also started reading Lycanthropy and Other Chronic Illnesses, and now, there's like mixed things about this one online, because I looked at some of the reviews, and a lot of the South Asian people that have read this book and rated it have said that the South Asian representation is really not very good. And personally, I don't know enough about South Asian representation to say whether it's good or not, but I'm inclined to believe them because they're likely to know. So that's not great. What I have found is really good about this book is the disability representation. There is an element of this that has like a chronic illness group chat thing, and just the way that they talk and offer support to each other. I just think that is so well done, and it just feels really good. And it's like, oh, I've been seen, I don't know how to explain it, but I realized I didn't actually explain what this book is about. It's about a girl who was in college and she got Lyme disease, and for quite a while afterwards she's still feeling the after effects and she might have to live with them for her entire life. And she's kind of dropped out of medical school, but not fully dropped out, but she probably will drop out, because I think that's going to be something that comes into the later part of the story, because she's struggling and she's like, I don't know if I can ever get back into this. So I thought this was going to be a contemporary, and I just thought the lycanthropy and other chronic illnesses thing was a joke. It's not a joke. There are actually werewolves in this, and I was just not expecting that to happen. So yeah, I mean, I probably should have from the title. I thought it was a joke. It wasn't a pun. It was just, there are actually werewolves. But it's fun, and I'm enjoying it so far. So either that's my check-in. I am going to try and go for a walk, but I also think that I might just, like, melt. Like, be a puddle of melted Catherine in the outside. I've also been struggling a lot recently with, like, just walking anywhere. I've just had so little energy that it's been really, really hard to make it anywhere. So I'm going to take my walking stick with me, and I feel like I need to get better at doing that, because I often end up in pain and I'm like hobbling along and I'm like, wow, it would have been really good if I had some support, and then I don't bring it because I think I still have like this weirdly like internalized ableism around using a walking stick. Like, I feel like almost like I'm not I'm not disabled enough to use the walking stick. And I know that's ridiculous, because if it helps you, you should use it. But like at the same time, this tiny bit of my mind is like, don't use it, because you can do it. You'll be fine without it. But would my life be easier if I did use it? Yeah, probably. Would my pain be less if I did use it? Yeah, probably. Should I use it? Yeah, probably. Will I? We'll see. But I feel like I need to get better at that. It's something I need to work on. So, you know, I thought I would talk about it on here in case any of you have had like similar experiences and just kind of have any input on the matter about trying to be better at being less internalized ableism about the whole thing. So, you know, that would be helpful. I'm gonna go and try and not die in the heat. So I am currently sat down in the outside on the side of a canal, melting. It's very, very hot right now. It's nice when the wind blows though. Yeah, just listening to Lycanthropy and Other Chronic Illnesses and having a rest because my body hurts. My feet are killing me and my knee is doing something funny, so I guess we sit here for a bit. At least it's, you know, nice view. Very quiet and peaceful. So I finished Lycanthropy and Other Chronic Illnesses. So I rated it 4 out of 5 stars, and I ended up really enjoying it. And it was mostly because of the community aspect of people with chronic illnesses and disabilities just sort of understanding each other. The lycanthropy aspect of it was fun. I just feel like it was, I don't know, the thing behind it. Oh, there's the postman. Why is it every time I try and film in front of the camera, there's like a person? The window. The people. The postman. And he's gone. I know that's really silly, but like I should just be able to just like make eye contact and wave at people and be like, yeah, you know, normal. But I am sat here talking to myself for all they know. So anyway, I think the lycanthropy aspect of this was a little bit more obvious, like what was going on, and the characters seemed to connect the dots. Like I felt like it was quite, you know, it made sense to me, but maybe that's just because like I have done research into things and I'm like, well, that's probably connected to this specific thing, and it was. Like, I'm really trying not to spoil it because I feel like it's a really good book from the chronic illness side of things. It just, if you want to read something that has that community aspect, I don't know, I enjoyed it. And yeah, I feel like that was worth reading. I'm really glad I read it. I was in a rush to read it because it was on the Audible library free thing up until the 19th, and I was like, well, if I don't read that one soon, then I'm going to have to buy it, and then I probably won't buy it, so then I probably won't read it. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just get that one out of the way with. So I actually have to think about my TBR now, because I think I've only read 2 books on my actual TBR, and the other things have all been on my like extended TBR. So I think I need to actually focus on the books that I put on the proper TBR for the prompts now. So the book that I have picked up today is The Secret of Haven Point, because that's the group book, and I should probably get to this one because I feel like it'd be fun to talk about. I started it, and it is very middle grade in a way that I don't normally love to have middle grade books. It's a first person from this character's point of view, and they speak in a way that they think they know everything in that way that kids do, and I find that quite frustrating. I'm not like a big middle grade reader, and so I think I'm quite picky with my middle grades, and this one is just, I feel like I have to get over the fact that they kind of annoy me. In the narrative choices kind of annoy me, and I'll have to sort of get through that, because I think the story itself could be quite interesting. I like the characters. I just think that how it's written maybe not particularly for me, in the sense that the way that the character think is just really annoying to me. Like, I would go absolutely insane if I was anywhere near this person. But maybe that's also just children, and I'm not really a kid person, so I feel like that, you know, this probably makes probably makes a lot of sense. I don't know, I'm only 4 chapters in, so we'll just have to see how it goes and see if the story bits that I like can outweigh the narrative voice that I obviously don't really gel with. It's much later in the day. I've gone changed. I went to the dentist. It was like the quickest dentist appointment ever, which is great because I don't like the dentist. And here's the cat. It's Cooper. Hi, well, there's nothing there. I don't have food. Thanks for the lick anyway, though. That was nice of him. So I have read quite a bit more of The Secret of Haven Point, and I have got about 44 minutes of the audiobook left. I listen on 3.5 times speed, though, so there's still quite a lot left, like the whole conclusion to the book, like the climax is coming. So I am liking it more than I was when I first picked it up, and you guys will have to kind of take what I'm saying in this little mini review thing with a bit of a grain of salt, because middle grades aren't usually for me, and I feel like I am, I don't know, focusing on like the negatives, or like the things that I'm not enjoying as much, rather than the things that I do like, because the things that I'm liking, there is disability discussion, and I think this would be really good if you were of a middle grade age. I just think that, like, just I'm a bit past it. There's a lot of friendship politics stuff in here as well, and I don't love that, because, like, as an autistic person, you know, friendship politics as kids it's really not the best thing ever. So, oh, cat's on the move. He's on the move. Goodbye. I don't know how I feel about The Secret of Haven Point, but I think I'm enjoying it. I'm not the target audience, and I'm very, very aware of that. It's okay. I think I'm enjoying it to a certain extent. Like, I think it's just something I have to be aware of when I'm talking about it, that it's not made for me, and, you know, the things that I don't like about it are probably things that make it really accessible to the middle grade market, and that's, like, fair. So I just finished The Secret of Haven Point, and I ended up rating it 3 out of 5 stars. Now, I don't think that's actually a very good representation of the story as a whole. It's just a representation about how I personally feel about it, and what I've gotten from the end of this book is that I don't think I like kids very much. I really think that I do struggle with middle grade, and I am very, very picky with what I end up enjoying in a middle grade. And for this one, just certain things about the narrative voice annoyed me. I was also annoyed by the ending and the fact that it didn't really end. I mean, it did, but there was obviously a lead into the next one, and it kind of felt unsatisfactory to me. And I feel like that's, you know, get the kids to read the next one and all that, you know, great. And it just really annoys me, because I'm like, well, I'm not going to pick up the next one probably, so I would have liked just to know what happened. But okay, sure, fine. It's just clearly not for me, and I think I accept that. So I rated it 3 out of 5 stars. I did really enjoy the rep in it and all that. It just was really overshadowed by the children, which are just really... I sound like I hate kids. I'm like, no. I feel like the queen from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. No, I don't hate kids. I just don't really want to be in their heads, to be honest. I think that maybe that's it. I don't know. Anyway, that's another book that I have read for this readathon, and I'm actually going to wrap this vlog up here because I feel like it could just carry on going and going and going, and with finishing that book, I feel like this is a good place to end it. It's also the 13th of May, so this is kind of halfway through the month, kind of ish, a bit. Not really, but like, in my head it is. So technically, I've read 7 books that do count for the readathon. Only 3 of them were actually on my TBR. And only 3 or 4 of them have what I would like to say is thoughtful representation. And maybe I am excluding the Sarah J. Maas ones there because, you know, she tried her best. She tried her best. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!